Hello, laces and jellybabies. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Dynzel's Thoughts. This is the first of my E3 special series this week, and up first is Microsoft. Admittedly, my least favourite of the hardware devs, but they were the first of the big boys to jump into E3, and I'll try not to be too negative. So let's do this. So, I'm going to start with what I feel is the biggest and most exciting news. Microsoft have purchased 5 new studios. Yes, 5. Well, technically 4, and they're starting a 5th, so it's still pretty big news. This will double their first party studios, giving them a significant boost to their game production. It's a very clever move, especially when it's considered that all their first party titles that were slated for 2018 release have either been delayed until next year, a la Crackdown, or have been outright cancelled like Scalebound. The studios they bought were Playground Games, who have been helping make the Forza series for quite a while now, Undead Labs, creators of State of Decay, Compulsion Games, makers of the upcoming We Happy Few, which I'll get to in a little bit, and the fantastically talented Ninja Theory, the team behind the critical success Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. All of these studios have amazing potential, and I have to say, knowing that it's highly unlikely that I'll ever get to play a Ninja Theory game on PlayStation again, makes me kinda sad. Hellblade was a great game, and I especially enjoyed the fact that it took place in Pictland, now known as the greatest country in the world, Scotland. I'm also surprisingly impressed by what we were shown so far this E3 of We Happy Few. A game that I had absolutely no interest in whatsoever has shown some real charm, and the fact that Compulsion realised that what they'd made so far and shown in the open testing stages were nowhere close to acceptable, and they've spent lots of time and money to get the story up to where the impressive visual style was. The 5th studio, The Initiative, is one that they're building from the ground up in Santa Monica, California. This is pretty big news because this is where powerhouse PlayStation studio Naughty Dog are located, as well as several others. Microsoft are joining the booming video game industry location that is Santa Monica. The initiative will be headed up by Daryl Gallagher. Gallagher's an industry veteran who worked his way up the ladder from head of creative at Sony back in the 90s to director of art at Crystal Dynamics, head of product development and studios at Square, and most recently senior vice president and head of development at Activision. This expansion of Microsoft's first party studio portfolio was desperately needed, and while it doesn't help them in the short term, it definitely does in the long term. And while I'm annoyed at the removal of so much potential from my personal ecosystem, hopefully it will allow other smaller game devs to take a step up and move into the space that's been made by Microsoft's desperation. Next, I'm going to talk about my third party picks. Just a couple of games that really stood out from the third party games shown at Microsoft's conference. My first pick is Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red's long-awaited, narrative-driven, open-world RPG set in a vibrant and dangerous metropolis of the future has finally been revealed. You're going to play as V, a hired gun on the rise who just got their first serious contract. In a world of cyber-enhanced street warriors, tech-savvy netrunners and corporate life hackers, Day's your first step to become an urban legend. Yes, I did just get that from the official press release for the game. I have to say, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hardly CD's biggest fan. In fact, I think The Witcher is probably one of the most overrated franchises in gaming, right behind Zelda. But this new setting is one that I love, and Cyberpunk's a genre that's always intrigued me. While this is only a trailer, and it looked like it had been made in-engine, that's something that makes me very happy, because it really looked amazing. That said, it really could totally suck, which is something that has definitely happened to me plenty of times before at E3 with games that have piqued my interest. My second pick is one that I am incredibly hyped for, Dying Light 2. This sequel to the open world phenomenon Dying Light brings to life a unique post-apocalyptic vision of the modern Dark Ages. Their term, not mine, although I have to say it oddly fits from what was shown in the gameplay trailer. Your parkour abilities and brutal combat skills are the only things that let you dive into darkness and emerge alive, make morally grey decisions and shape the transformation of the city and ultimately decide its fate. So basically there's going to be choices that you make throughout the game, who you align yourself with, who you help, which people you kill, which people you don't, which missions you choose to take, that all affect the world and the safe haven that you're trying to build for the survivors of the zombie apocalypse. So yeah, I have to say, sequel to one of the best games of this generation so far. I cannot wait. Now, there was over 30 other third-party games that were shown at the conference, so I'm not going to talk about them all. Those were just a couple that I picked out for a slightly more in-depth look. But here's some of the other ones that they showed that I think looked pretty cool. And no, I'm not going to be talking about KH3 because it's almost certainly going to be more information about it that I'll want to add in, released later in the week. So I'll keep that for the third party video that I'm making for later in the week. That said, let's do a quick rundown. Devil May Cry 5. It looks awesome and I'm very excited about it. Hopefully the turnaround of the Resident Evil franchise is a good omen. Battlefield 5. Looks alright. Not a huge fan of the series, but I do like the idea of what they're doing. If I could get the single player mode as a standalone for cheaper, then I'm not going to lie, I'd probably consider grabbing it. Fallout 76 looks fantastic and I'm cautiously optimistic, and once again I'm going to go into a lot more detail in the third party video. Metro Exodus looks pretty cool, I have to say. Tales of Vesperia is a much bigger deal and a much bigger get than I'm happy to admit. But it really is. And finally, the craziest yet most hyped moment at the press conference for me has to be Jump Force. It's an anime fighter from Bandai Namco that lets you play as your favourite Shonen Jump characters. I mean, seriously, what more could you want from a game? Now on to the exclusive games. Now, we've already talked about We Happy Few. It looks so much better from a story standpoint than what had previously been shown, and to be honest I think it could be a bit of a dark horse for Xbox's Game of the Year. Admittedly there's not a whole lot of contention for that. Sea of Thieves got some gimmick infringing expansions. I think Galadriel and J.R.R. Tolkien are going to be calling. Forza 4 is going to be set in the UK with several well-known locations like Edinburgh being made available for races, as well as what seem to be some pretty cool season mechanics for different races and how it affects the things that you can and can't do in those races. The Gears franchise got a massive boost with 3 new games announced. Yes, 3. Gears Tactics, which is exactly what it sounds like, it's an RTS set in the world of Gears. Gears 5, which seems to be changing the kind of storyline blueprint of the past games, which looks kind of cool. It's focusing more on the female character from Gears 4, which definitely has its intriguing points. And my personal favourite, Gears Pop, which seems to be a Gears game, but all the characters are their Funko Pop versions. I mean, it's just insane. Halo Infinite got a pretty cool CG trailer, but who really knows what it's going to be like on release, and who knows whether or not Halo fans are actually going to like it, especially since right at the end they slapped a big 343 label at the end of it, so I mean, who knows. The last three are the ones that kind of really intrigued me the most, I have to say. First being Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the sequel to the smash hit from last year, Ori and the Blind Forest. Tunic, it's a nice little third-person platformer that stars a cool wee fox dude running around, cutting grass and jumping about. And finally, what has to be definitely the most shocking reveal to me, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software. Yes, that's the makers of the Soulsborne games, and it's kind of mind-blowing that it seems, from everything that I can find online at the moment, that the game is definitely going to be an Xbox One exclusive, which is just, it's crazy to think of a From Software game not available on PlayStation. It just boggles the mind. Although, little interesting tidbit, Sekiro is not going to be helmed by the critically acclaimed Hidetaka Miyazaki, the brain behind Dark Souls, Demon Souls and Bloodborne. So who knows what that game's going to be like in the end. And lastly, just some quick wrap up news of other stuff that they announced about their services going forward. The Xbox Game Pass catalogue has been expanded with titles available to members starting yesterday, including Fallout 4, The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited, and Tom Clancy's The Division, which is pretty cool. Microsoft have also announced several notable titles launching through the Idea Xbox program that will be coming to Xbox Game Pass this year to coincide with their debut on Xbox One. This includes Warhammer Vermintide 2, Ashen, Afterparty and Phoenix Point, as well as blockbusters from some of their biggest first-party franchises such as Forza Horizon 4, Crackdown 3, Gears 5 and Halo the Master Chief Collection, which will release later in 2018 and further on. So that's pretty cool. Microsoft Game Pass, or Xbox Game Pass, definitely seems like it's a cool idea for them, and it seems to be very popular, so increasing the catalogue and the library available to consumers seems like a pretty good idea. They also talked about Fast Start, which basically just means that they've enabled a way to make your Xbox load games quicker, especially after you've downloaded it. Makes it available to play much quicker. It specifically identifies which files are needed to begin playing and prioritises the download of those files first, which means that you don't get that horrible 10 minutes into a game, half an hour into a game and it's stopped because it's not fully downloaded. So that kind of stuff, especially with the Game Pass tying it in that way, I think it's going to be pretty good news for Xbox fans. And probably I think the coolest thing, and I have to, for all the grief that I give Xbox and Microsoft, the news of the Xbox Adaptive Controller is quite possibly one of the coolest things I've ever heard about in gaming. But for just $100 you can actually buy, as of 9 AM Pacific time today, when this goes up, so that's June 11th. You can purchase a pre-order for it, and it's basically a controller that's designed for gamers with limited mobility, so people who have different disabilities and the like. It's a way to let them enjoy what able-bodied gamers have been enjoying for years. So I have to say it's massive props to Xbox for that. It's one of the coolest ideas I've heard in a while in gaming, and it's really nice to see somebody actually doing it. And they could have cost an arm and a leg, no pun intended, to buy it. So it's, I mean, £100 or $100, you know, nothing to be sneezed at, but at the same time it's a lot more accessible than I think they probably could have made it by charging more. So yeah, good on Xbox. So all round, it was a really good press conference. I have to admit, I really hate admitting it, but yeah, no, it was a really good press conference. They've basically taken the formula that PlayStation's been using for the past several years to great success, and put it to good use with their own wee spins on it. That said, they didn't show anything that's going to get me to run out and buy an Xbox anytime soon, unless I have to afford the channel and there's like massive demand for me to do it. But yeah, I mean, there was plenty of cool games, but the ones that really got me hooked from what I saw, I can play elsewhere. But I have to say, the main takeaway from it seems to be that Microsoft are looking to the future. For better or worse, they've realised that there's not really an awful lot they can do to kind of bridge the gap this generation from PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Even with the release of the Xbox One X, it might catch up towards the end of both the life cycles, but I think PlayStation 4 will probably stay the top dog and highest selling of this generation, but who knows. But that said, they are definitely positioning themselves in a favourable manner for the next generation, which they did actually mention they're already working towards in earnest. So if I had to score the conference, I'd say it was a solid Resident Evil Revelations out of Resident Evil Nemesis. But that's just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Check out the other videos on the channel and give this a share. This has been Dynzel's Thoughts. I'm Dynzel Washington. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye bye.